Hello my fellow smug ones, I hope you're all okay. Well, apparently the new BBC chairman says that the licence fee is the least worst option. Well, there's a surprise. Let's begin. Well, surprisingly, the company that are reporting this are the BBC themselves. I wonder why that could be, eh, BBC? I wonder how your meeting went about that. Probably something like this.
We need our new chairman to reassure people about the licence fee. How can we do that?
I know. We can report it, sir. We can report it and reassure everyone.
That's a brilliant idea. Get on to it at once.
Okay, so I'm guessing that was nowhere near how it went, even if they had a meeting at all. Although it does make you wonder, doesn't it? The BBC reporting on something that they know there is a lot of controversy about, that they want to reassure people about, so they can keep getting their billions of pounds coming in. Anyway, let's read this. The licence fee is the least worst way of funding the BBC, its incoming chairman Richard Sharp has said. Well, I'm sorry, Richard, but I think you're wrong. I think the best way, or the least worst, whichever way you want to put it, way of funding the BBC, the best way is by adverts. That way is companies that are funding you, the BBC, not the public. Why should the public keep being forced to pay for this when quite a lot of them nowadays, including me, don't even watch the BBC but would still like to watch other TV channels live? Of course, we can't do that because of your silly, outdated rules. Anyway, let's continue. But Mr. Sharp told MPs that he had an open mind about how the corporation should be funded in the future, and it may be worth reassessing the current situation. Well, think about it. If you're going to reassess the current situation and you're going to go into that thinking that the current way is the least worst way, then that's the way you're going to come out of it thinking, isn't it? You're going to still say, yes, I was right. The current way is still the least worst way of funding. And who is that for? For the public, that's the worst way of funding it, because it means they have to legally pay you to watch any other channel live as well as the BBC. But for the BBC, the licence fee is the least worst way, and that is because they don't have to do anything. They just sit on their bums and get given 3 billion, not million, billion, 3 billion pounds of public money to do whatever they want with. They've probably got toilet rolls made of £5 notes. They don't care. They don't seem to care about money because they know they get given a big chunk of it. And the reason why that's the least worst way for them is because they get given it. The other options, advertising, is worse for the BBC because they have to go out and actually do something and say to people, would you like to advertise? And try and sell their advertising space. The worst way for the BBC, in my opinion, from their point of view, would be the subscription route. And that is because quite a lot of people think the BBC is biased and just won't pay to watch them. There's loads of things out there that people can pay to watch, like Netflix and Amazon Prime, and they all start from £5.99 a month. However, the BBC TV licence costs £13.13 a month. So if they were to go just with that down a subscription route, just covering the BBC, they'd probably knock it down to a tenner maybe, just to cover the BBC. However, they would still take a hit on that money, and quite a lot of people still wouldn't go with them because it's nearly twice as much as the other services. So for the BBC, that way would be the worst. Then it's the adverts, because they still have to do something. And then it's the public funding them, because that's the least worst way for them, because they don't have to do anything. He also said he didn't think the BBC's Brexit coverage was biased overall. There were some occasions where the Brexit representation was unbalanced. There's more than a few occasions, I'm sorry. Quite often it seemed there was 2/3 of Remainers to 1/3 of Brexiteers. That's how it seemed. Question Times seemed to have more Remainers than Brexiteers, he said, so even he thinks that. The £157.50 licence fee is due to stay in place till at least 2027, when the BBC Royal Charter ends, with a debate about how the broadcasters should be funded after that. Adverts. Go to adverts. Because as I said, it would be companies funding them instead of the public. Mr. Sharp, who spent 23 years working as a banker for Goldman Sachs. A banker, eh? I wonder if his current job means he has to replace the first letter of banker with a W. Who knows? I mean, he works for the BBC, doesn't he? He told the House of Commons Digital Culture, Media and Sport Select Committee, at 43 pence a day, the BBC represents terrific value. I guess that kind of means he has replaced the first letter with a W, doesn't it? Well, Richard, if you think 43 pence a day is good value, I'm guessing you'll think 20 pence, or specifically 19.6 pence. But as we can't do that, 20 pence a day is good value, because that's how much the basic package of Netflix costs you per day. 20 pence, which is less than half the price of your silly outdated TV licence, isn't it? The government is currently reviewing whether its cost should continue to rise with inflation from 2022. Let me answer that for you. The answer is no. No, it should go down. Anyway, and whether non-payment should remain a criminal offence. See, I think it's as silly that it's even a criminal offence to begin with. Why is it even a law in the first place to be made to pay someone to watch TV? It's silly and outdated. It needs to go. Mr. Sharp said he was not in favour of decriminalisation. Well, there's a surprise. And why is that? Because that is your leverage, isn't it? Panicking people, worrying people. Oh, if I don't pay this, I'll be breaking the law, just so the BBC gets funded. It's so wrong. It really is. He said that other possible options for funding the BBC in the future could include a household tax like the one used in Germany, which amounts to the same amount of money. Except the problem with that is we'd all have to pay, whether we want to watch the BBC or not. At least now we don't have to pay the BBC if we don't want to watch them. That is a lot worse. But why are these people so against advertising? I'm sure there'd be lots of companies that want to advertise on the BBC, wouldn't there? Think about it, that's one of the main channels. He added, so when we next get the chance to review the structure of this, then it may be worth reassessing. Only if you've got someone there on the side of the majority of the public who actually want the licence scrapped. He said the biggest issue now facing the BBC is impartiality, and that trust in leadership and trust in the processes must be rebuilt after high-profile equal pay cases with journalists such as Kerry Gracie and Samira Ahmed. Well, yes, it is important that the BBC are impartial, especially if they are being funded by the public. So that is, yes, a massive thing for them. But equally is the licence fee. He said clearly some of its problems it's had recently are really rather terrible and reflect the culture that needs to be rebuilt so everyone cherishes the BBC and works at the BBC, feels proud and happy to work there, he said. Then in my view, that would produce a better output inevitably. Cherishes, eh? He wants us to cherish the BBC. I'll tell you how we'd cherish the BBC. First of all, yes, be impartial. Secondly, stop trying to get people to fund you. Go to adverts. And also, stop with all the woke, lefty snowflake stuff. Not everything nowadays has to be political. Quite a lot of people, including me, would rather just sit down and watch a decent comedy without having some political propaganda shoved down our faces. Mr. Sharp also told the committee he would give his £160,000 salary as BBC chairman to charity. Think about it, 160,000. I think that's more than what the Prime Minister gets. And he's obviously makes a decision about the country. But yet this guy here gets paid more than him. And he's obviously rich if he's willing to donate the whole lot to charity. When asked, what's in it for you then? Mr. Sharp, whose heritage is Jewish, don't know what that's got to do with anything, but said, we're all a product of our upbringing, and I was very fortunate with the parents I have, and great-grandparents came to this country escaping tyranny. I think I've won the lottery in life to be British, and if I can make a contribution, I would be happier to. Well, it is good that he's given it to charity, and yes, if he can just afford to give £160,000 away, he must have won the lottery somewhere along the line. The BBC is part of the fabric of all our national identities. It offers educational and enrichment and is also important, blah, 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 blah. What a load of rubbish. The problem is the BBC is quite biased nowadays. I'm sorry, I can't continue to read that stuff. Anyway, what do you think about all this? You can let me know down in the comments. If you want to see more videos like this, you can let me know by giving the video a like. Subscribe to stay updated and share this video far and wide to get the message out there. And I'll see you in the next one.
Smug.